The way Trump came into office, like bullying everybody and trying to annex, I'm going to take over, all of that, how he came in with this trade war, wanting to conquer Canada, wanting to conquer Greenland, the way he's putting tariffs on everybody, he's making so many people want to boycott America. And I wouldn't want to come to America either if I was from another country, especially with the ICE detentions and the way we're treating people, or the way Trump is treating people, not the rest of us. Some of us have sense. So this article just came out. It says, this Washington border county is desperate for Canadians. Let's get into this article. People have roamed across the 49th parallel on the west flank of North America for hundreds of years. Lately, many are thinking twice. Canadians frequently stopped by Blaine, Washington for gas, dairy, and other staples that tend to be cheaper across the border. But the trade and diplomatic fight that Donald Trump has picked with America's northern border is causing more Canadians to stay home. The boycotts have put business owners in Blaine and surrounding Whatcom County on edge, wondering how long the area's economy can survive with fewer visitors from British Columbia to fuel it. There's just no one around, said Mike Hill, who runs a Chevron station in Blaine, population 6,200. Gasoline sales have dropped by 40 to 50% in the past few months, he said, and even the garbage cans by the pumps rarely need emptying. It's crazy. Canadians are like our brothers and sisters with just that border between us. Whatcom County has been a borderland for centuries. Coal, gold, and lumber once lured thousands to the area, but the promise of savings draws shoppers there now. Canadians can skirt international shipping fees by having online purchases delivered to mailboxes and parcel stores in Blaine and nearby border towns, but crossings from Canada have plummeted amid the political standoff, and recent exchange rates haven't helped. I am angry at the Trump administration for their arrogant and heavy-handed treatment of us, said Tom Mills, the retired college instructor from Vancouver, said he visited the United States half a dozen times last year, but opted against visiting an ill friend in Oregon a few weeks ago. That trip would have involved refueling his car with American gas and his stomach with meals at a breakfast spot in Blaine and a Mexican restaurant in Bellingham, the seat of Whatcom County and its largest city. Down the street, Gary Slavin said he's seen comments on Canadian Facebook pages urging people not to support the Gateway 1890 Tap House and Grill, which he co-owns with his wife, because it's an American business. It isn't exactly. Slavin is a Canadian green card holder who has lived in the United States for the past decade. Fortunately, he said, we're still seeing many of our regulars. A few Canadians are still stopping by the Blaine Visitor Center, said local Chamber of Commerce Secretary Carol Solomon, but it's often just to use the public bathroom. A few yards away one recent Sunday, Trent Arce and Gary Farrow were chatting by the welcome sign at the town entrance that reads Blaine, Washington, the Peace Ark City, referring to a 67-foot monument to bilateral concord. The two co-workers at a nearby cold storage facility weren't too worried about the dearth of Canadians. Trump is very wild with the things he says and does, shrugged Arce, a transplant from Georgia. People will get over it, said Farrow, a Blaine native. I think it will go away. Blaine Mayor Mary Lou Stewart has reason to hope they're right. The town was already feeling pinched from inflation before Trump tariffs threats ramped up, and she says she now worries we may have to start dealing with furloughs due to falling sales tax revenue. The Canadian boycotters are forcing some Washington state business owners to answer for decision makers in D.C. One woman wrote to say that while our end is amazing, our president has offended and disrespected Canadians, so now she can't bring herself to cross the border, said Terry Treat, managing partner at the Inn at Linden. The 35-room property, about 15 miles southwest of Blaine, in a town known for its Dutch immigrant heritage and architecture, has seen a spike in cancellations by Canadians, she said. So that's one small town. There are several small towns and other tourist cities and states that are feeling the exact same way, and it's all because of Trump's big mouth. So let's go to this USA Today article. International travel is declining and is costing the U.S. It's shaking everything up. Some of the key points. Increased scrutiny at U.S. borders and recent detainments are causing some international travelers to reconsider visiting the U.S. Some travelers are opting for alternative destinations like Canada due to the current political climate and rhetoric. Experts warn that the shift away from the U.S. as a travel destination could have long-term economic consequences. Ryan Estrada and Kim Hyun-suk recently made the difficult decision to cancel their months-long visit to the United States this summer. They had spent years planning this trip, sacrificing others for this major one. Kim even denied renewing her job contract for it. Cartoon artist Estrada and his wife Kim, a Korean graphic novel author, had been living in her home country for the past several years. This trip was their opportunity to visit Estrada's family and also meet with libraries across the country to talk about the books they collaborate on. Kim was planning to be in the United States on a tourist visa for the permitted 3 months, while Estrada, an American-born citizen, was going to arrive earlier and leave later. They were all set for their trip when they heard the news about graphic artist Rebecca Burke being detained and banned from the United States. The British national, who was using homestays for her accommodation, was attempting to travel from Seattle to Vancouver during a backpacking sojourn throughout North America. "She's a friend of friends, and it just kind of scared me," Estrada said. And everything after that, it seemed like every day there were 2 or 3 new stories that touched on exactly what we were afraid of. By that, he means high-profile detainments and deportations of several green card holders, the enhanced scrutiny at U.S. borders, and the overall agenda of increased national security by the Trump administration. Even some U.S. citizens are hesitant to travel outside the country's borders. So borders don't just keep people out, it keeps people in. People should know and understand that once we leave, we could be scrutinized coming back in, especially if we have anti-Trump, anti-MAGA rhetoric on our phones. You think people should trust that? Absolutely not. They are swiping people's freedoms left and right. People need to be aware. Knowing they were bringing art supplies with them, plus the fact that Kim's books, one being a fictional illustrated account about living under a South Korean military regime in the 80s, are banned in 4 states, the couple felt going on the trip was just too risky. "There's a lot of family things I want to do that we're not able to do, but I have the choice of either putting my wife in danger or abandoning her for half a year," Estrada said. "I was shocked by how many people understood. I thought people, even older relatives, would be like, 'Oh, you're overreacting.' But my mom was like, 'Yeah, don't come. It's too dangerous.'" Amid recent travel advisory warning those coming to the United States, plus strengthening immigration enforcement, many international travelers are starting to turn away from the United States as a destination. Listen to this. Between January and March, foreign arrivals dropped around 4.4% from those first 3 months last year, according to data from the National Travel and Tourism Office. In March, year-over-year comparison, that reduction doubles to almost 10%. And that was before the tariffs, the really big, beautiful tariffs. So what's going to happen when the spring break numbers come, or when the summer tourism numbers come? At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, consistently ranked the busiest airport in the world and hub for international connections, 189,973 non-U.S. passengers passed through its terminals between March 1st and April 7th, according to data by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. That's an almost 5% decrease from the same time last year. I am a numbers girl. And this is going to have ripple effects. This is going to keep impacting these tourist towns. And as it impacts the tourist towns, that's going to impact those individual employees' money, because those people rely on that money for their paycheck. This is all around, along with all the other stuff. The mass firings, the threats of mass firings. So domestic travel is going to be down. Also, all of the airplane crashes, the near misses, the wings clipping each other, the helicopter crashes, all of that is going to cause domestic travel to go down as well. At the same time, inflation is still up. Tariffs are making everything go up. This is just a terrible mismatch that's going to cause everything in the United States to just go down. Stagflation is about to be a thing. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think about all this, how the tourist numbers are going to impact everything. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.